Witam from BA. This is a Rorschach Poland update from the 31st of October 2024. A quick summary of what's going down in Poland. Kicking off this edition on Thursday the 24th, President Andrzej Duda visited South Korea and talked with its president, Yoon Suk-yeol, about bilateral and global issues. Previously, in 2023, Poland received 180 K2 South Korean tanks to boost its military sector. During the meeting, the two leaders announced that South Korea would give Poland 180 more tanks in the future. Duda also said that Poland would produce some of these tanks since they would contribute to the Polish economy and the development of its military sector. On the other hand, Duda expressed his concerns about trade imbalances between the two countries and said he hoped for increased Polish exports to South Korea, particularly in the defense and agriculture sectors. The two presidents also talked about North Korea sending soldiers to Russia to fight in Ukraine, saying that it could worsen the war and destabilize Ukraine. The next day, Andrzej Duda responded to rumors circulating on social media. Some internet users said that Poland would give away some of its newly purchased military equipment, such as K2 tanks, to Ukraine. However, during a press conference, Duda said that Poland wouldn't give away the weapons purchased in recent years because they are meant to strengthen the country's national security. He also confirmed that Ukrainian officials approached him regarding this, but he rejected the request. Still, this doesn't mean that Poland would stop helping Ukraine. On the same day, the European Investment Bank said that Poland contributed $30 million to a European fund aimed at supporting the post-war reconstruction of Ukraine. While Duda was in South Korea, Prime Minister Donald Tusk visited Serbia. He met with Serbian President Aleksandar Vučić. The Serbian president supported the Polish government's plan to limit immigration. Tusk asked the EU to accept Serbia as a new member and said in Serbian that the EU was not complete without the country. Tusk also asked the Serbian president to consider imposing sanctions on Russia. In internal political affairs on Friday the 25th, the Razem party withdrew from the ruling coalition and 27 of its members also left the party. The Razem party used to operate under the Left Party, a member of the ruling coalition, to empower the progressive bloc in Polish politics. However, the top members of the Razem party became disappointed with the Left Party and other coalition members because they did not care about Razem's proposals, such as more funding for healthcare, social housing, and scientific research in the forthcoming budget. The party now has chosen to stay independent, focusing on a more critical opposition stance to the government. On Tuesday, the 29th, the Tusk government decided to increase the state budget for this year. Tusk said that due to unpredictable incidents such as a flood disaster that happened this year, the executive needed more money to spend. With the latest revision, the government will now have an extra $15 billion to spend, which will increase the public deficit ratio to 9% of the country's GDP. Normally, the EU allows member countries to have only 3% of the public deficit of the country's GDP. This increase may lead to further investigation by the EU over Poland in the upcoming months. This year, the European Commission has already started an excessive deficit procedure regarding Poland's overspending of its budget. The opposition criticized the budget increase, accusing the government of wasting money. In other news, on the 5th of November, the US will hold its presidential election. In previous shows, we said that nearly 10 million people from the Polish diaspora live in the US, and they may be key in the elections. On Wednesday the 30th, a poll by CBOS Info revealed that most of the polls in the US support Democrat Kamala Harris. 50% of participants favored Harris, while only 25% expressed their support for Donald Trump. Other participants said that they did not favor anyone or they were indecisive. Meanwhile, on Tuesday the 29th, the government announced it would ban the sale of fly agaric mushrooms within 3 months. Fly agaric mushrooms have distinct red caps with white spots and are infamous for their psychoactive and toxic properties. People use these mushrooms to make drugs because they have hallucinogenic effects when consumed. In sports news, on Monday the 28th, Slavomir Nitras, the sports and tourism minister, will be a candidate to organize and manage the 2040 Olympics Games in Warsaw and other major cities. Nitras announced the country's sports plans for the next 2 decades and said that the government will invest $24 billion by 2040 to boost every sports branch. Nitras said the country will be working on a plan until 2026 to officially announce its candidacy for the Olympic Games. Let's shift gears. On Monday, the 28th, the global market research and public opinion company, or Ipsos, and the Empowering Children Foundation showed that 36% of adults in the country support physical punishment to discipline children, a decrease of 10% compared to 2005. Moreover, 80% of parents think yelling is another effective way to control children. The study also showed that women, young adults, residents of large cities, individuals with higher education, and parents of young children are more likely to oppose physical punishment than men, older adults, people with less education, and parents of adult children. On Thursday, the 24th, another study from the Statistical Office of the European Union showed that Poles have to wait at least 5 years in public hospitals to receive proper obesity treatment. According to EU statistics, 53% of Poles are overweight, and only 1% of them receive medical treatments in public hospitals. The hospitals only treat very few people with obesity because the facilities use their limited capacity to treat people with more serious illnesses like cancer and heart diseases. Also, some people think that being obese is a person's own fault and that they should resolve the issue themselves. Medical experts requested the government address the issue. On another concerning statistic, there were a lot of cyber fraud incidents in the country. On Tuesday the 29th, a study of the Santander Consumer Bank showed that 20% of people in the country fell victim to cyber scammers. Cyber criminals mostly targeted old people and young individuals aged 18 to 29. In the meantime, overall, 55% of Poles experienced cyber fraud attempts, like receiving fraudulent messages asking them to pay for the delivery of their package or about relatives in trouble. Also, the data showed that cyber criminals targeted low-income people way more than rich individuals. And to wrap up this edition, on Monday the 28th, Poles on social media expressed their concern that Google replaced Google Maps voice in Polish with an AI voice. The thing is, Poles embraced Jaroslaw Juskiewicz, the long-time Polish radio journalist with a unique style and sense of humor, who has been voicing Google Maps for over 15 years. In 2020, Google tried to replace him with AI, but after a wave of protests on social media, it decided to keep him. However, this week, Google replaced him again with AI, and Juskiewicz announced that Google said that the decision was irreversible. In his farewell message, Juskiewicz thanked Polish drivers and encouraged them to use their intuition and hearts, qualities he remarked AI could not yet replace. And that's it for this week. Thank you for joining us. We are so thankful to our listeners who follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and other platforms, especially those who share the show with friends and family. If you'd like to pass along an episode by sending an MP3 through a messaging app, you can download any episode directly from our website at www.rorschach.com/Poland. You'll also find the link in the show notes. Thank you. Do zobaczenia.